Hey, what's up? It's me, JSketch12, even for those of you who know me on my Tumblr. And I'm here with a little watercolor tutorial. So, let's get popping. Alright, so, let's go over a couple basic coloring things. Now, for starters, when you want to... You have two choices when you want to do the line art. One is to use a pencil to draw it. In that case, you want to draw lightly, otherwise the lines will bleed right through. You'll be able to see every single little line that you put on the paper through the watercolor paint because it is not an opaque medium and you don't want to see all your sketch lines through your pretty colors. So make sure you draw light if you're going to use a pencil. Now here I'm actually going to draw using the watercolor, and just going to do something pretty simple. It's like Goomy. Draw a Goomy. I hope I don't mess up. It's a tutorial. I'm live recording. Well, not live. This was pre-recorded, so this is a pre-recorded message. Okay, I'm done. Alright. So when you're starting a line art using a watercolor, you ought to start light, of course. Most people find it easier to watercolor from light to dark, which is perfectly fine. I can go from dark to light, light to dark, dark to light any way I want. Any way I want to. So, okay, this isn't really how you're supposed to be drawing. You're supposed to do construction lines and all that kind of jazz, but it's just a tutorial. I just want to show you how to make something real pretty real fast. Watercolor is one of the fastest artistic mediums in existence, besides just using a pencil and not doing any coloring or shading or whatever. Because nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Alright, now you have a couple choices when you want to. I'm going to say that a lot. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But you can either do a light wash, a wet wash, or a dry coloring. Now when you paint wet to wet, which is you want to wash your paper with that water, and get that water down. This will allow the paint to flow freely. So you can see what I'm doing. So watch what happens when I put the watercolors into the water. This has absolutely nothing to do with the Goomy, by the way, so... Look at how the spots of the paint collect in different places. This is because of the concentration of water and versus the concentration of pigments. It's all some special science, chemistry stuff that I'm pretty sure you don't care too much about. You're just here to do some drawing and painting, and I understand that. These sciencey, schmiancy things get a little bit annoying, even though I love science. So yeah, that's a wet painting. Dry to dry is more, allows you to get some bolder colors like this. You can get some bold shapes, sharp edges. This is just a demonstration, so I apologize for looking. This one looks lumpy. It's a Twinkie. It's a blue Twinkie. Heh. Alright, we got that blue Twinkie. And the nice thing about watercolors, well, if you can get it right, of course, is that you can blend colors in order to very easily. It's easy. It's too easy. So yeah. So I can easily create, I don't know what I'm painting, of course. However, it's showing you what watercolors can do. Now you have to be careful when you do this. it is rather dangerous. It is possible for the watercolors to bleed together and you'll get up with a muddy mess like is currently appearing right now. That being said, it is still a good idea to know how to do that so you can control it. You must have power over your creations. Otherwise they will rise up and destroy you. No, I'm just kidding. This ain't Space Odyssey 2000. But let's get back to that Goomy. Goomy! I think I said this before, but you can paint from dark to light, like dark any way you want to. You usually find light to dark easier, but if you can control, but if you have multiple areas in your painting, if the advantage of working from dark to light is that you can establish your light source. And granted, you can do that with a pencil and use an arrow to remind yourself where your light source is coming from. However, that requires an extra half a second of work that I do not want to do. So I'm just going to start dark with that Goomy's belly. His big belly. His big squish of belly. Gooey lowers your speed and I'm done. So, start with the darkness. No, I've worked both ways, light to dark, dark to light. It doesn't really matter for me. Anyway the wind blows, doesn't really matter to me. I'm not in choir. I'm in band. I play band because I can't swing. Well, I can sing, but it sounds horribly out of tune, and yeah, I'll be quiet now. Right. So if you want a lighter color, you can wash out your pigment using water. That all-powerful substance, the elixir of life. And see, you can get that nice gradient on. See how I get that gradient looking thing on Goomy's cheek. I haven't got a reference of. I'm sorry. You should oftentimes have a reference for something that you're not familiar with. The colors. I know how to draw Goomy. I can draw as many Goomies as I want, but I haven't got the colors just quite right now. I mean, like they're okay for a tutorial. It's just when I actually want to draw Goomy, I should probably look at the colors. So we've established the shadow side on Goomy's belly. All my color mixing is not going to fit on the screen. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, bruh. I'm sorry. Now, for things that are white, or sort of light colored, you can kind of indicate the shadow. You can indicate the shadow side by using that color instead of using straight on black. In fact, I wouldn't really use black on a watercolor. Usually, unless you're doing something like a tire. If you absolutely need black, like if you're drawing manga or if you're drawing a tire, even a tire, you can use dark brown. Unlike Batman, I only work in black, or sometimes very, very dark gray. Sorry, I'm being so messy. Messier than that soccer player. Yeah, see how I indicate the shadow side of Goomy. Oh shoot, I think I've ungoofed. I'll have to keep going anyway. Like, I'm about to show you one of the few instances in which you should use black. Well, no, that's not entirely true. there's a lot of instances in which you should use black. Just use it sparingly, otherwise your painting will come out extremely 2-year-old-ish. Because, you know, real life, almost nothing is really true black, except for maybe like some dark, except for like shadows at nighttime inside of a sewer where there's broken electricity. Yep, we got Goomy's eyes. They're black in the game. They're black here. However, for Goomy's mouth, I am going to mix up a darker version of that purple I use for his belly. And just a couple points of now, if you want to push the shadows, you can also use darker versions of a color that you have, that a shape is. I'm coming up with this on the fly. I'm so sorry. And you can indicate a shadow side using that as well. Oh! That being said, be careful not to go too saturated in these kinds of colors, like I just did right here. It is possible to erase with. It is possible to erase, however, it's not a good idea. Man, I done goofed. I screwed up so hard. I have to keep going. I need Goomy. I need my lord. Praise Goomy. Now, if a color comes out too saturated like that, it is possible to like wash it out using water. Don't do this too often, otherwise your painting will rip through and you will be a very, very sad artist. Believe me, I've done it before. Sucks. Sucks like Kirby. Except Kirby's actually a pretty good game. I love Kirby. Shadows, 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 shadows. Now, because of the properties of light, shadows will kind of reflect the color. Since I've already established my light source, it'll be a lot easier to be able to mix up place the shadows. And I can just do this. Now an object will cast shadows on itself. Those would be form shadows. And there you have it. Goomy. Alright, that being said, that's not really my best work, but I just wanted to show a couple basics. A few tips. Alright. Now let's try another one. We got that Diggersby though. You guys should really watch that video. Diggersby though. It's on Shofu's channel. It's pretty funny. But he comes on, preaches that Diggersby gospel, as Shofu called it. Diggersby's actually pretty good. It has huge power, which will need, and earthquake. Man, I don't remember. What was Diggersby fur like? Diggersby is a gray poke, so I'm going to kind of mix up a sepia color in order to simulate give it kind of a warm tone to match the brown on its fur. I mean, like on the dirt fur stuff on its ears. Got 2 more arms. This guy can sip a Coke while beating you up. Sipping that Coke while it's doing its focus punch. Actually, no, don't run. I don't think Diggersby can do focus punch. Yeah, but no. Focus punch was a TM in 4th gen. Forget I said that. Diggersby can't focus punch. Oh, can it? I'm gonna have to go check later. But yeah, see, I am establishing my shadow sides on that Diggersby though. I mean, like, Diggersby though. But you guys are half expecting me to do Deerling next. Deerling though. Those of you that watched all the way through that video already, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go watch that video. Do it now! No, do it later after I'm finished with this tutorial. Okay, for those of you who are wondering why my lines are so thick, this is a kind of a cartoony drawing, so this is kind of an exception to the rule. Usually, sometimes, I mean, like, if you're trying to do some beautiful moe anime drawing that's still cartoony, but you want it to look super nice and with colored lines and everything, then don't block in these lines way too high. Don't block in these lines way too. But since I'm just doing this for you guys, for all y'all who want to just learn some watercolors, get some basics all learned out. Now I keep moving the brush back and forth to get it in the water, so I can use that water to create lighter spots on Diggersby's fur. I got in these base colors down. You don't want to let a spot dry too far, like I have done here. Sorry. Because that will cause your drawing to look kind of blocky. And there are ways around that. It's kind of tedious, and you don't want to do that. It's not ideal. It would not be ideal. So, yeah. Diggersby. I'm gonna just place the palette next to Diggersby so I can. The colors I use for Diggersby. Now you never want to go too saturated. This goes for any piece of art, but watercolor especially if you don't want it to look like some 3-year-old drew it. So I'm going to go for a kind of darker brown, but not too saturated with orange. You can desaturate colors by mixing them with their complements and their supplements and all that. All right, we got the color for Diggersby's brown ears. For the brown on Diggersby's ears, though. Diggersby? Diggersby's one strong poke. I mean, I know Azumarill's like the monster of all Pokemon and will destroy everything. Probably even Arceus if you get lucky. If you're up all night to get lucky. I'm actually going to start light here because Diggersby's stubble, it's pretty dark, so it starts in the mid-tone. So the light spot, at its lightest, it'll be about a mid-tone. It's darkest, I'm not sure yet, so I'll just wing it as I go. You don't have to be super neat when you do watercolor. I mean, you can be kind of neat if you want to be really neat. You can be as neat as you wish. I'm choosing not to be neat because Diggersby is not a neat Pokemon. It's pretty messy. It's got dirt, stubble, and stuff. Notice how I'm using blue for the backlights, for the rim lighting. This creates more of an atmospheric kind of look, which is nice. Usually, you can make your atmospheric color anything you want. Heck, you could make a green atmosphere if you like, if you're doing some spore planet. So using blue for some of the shadows as well. Oh my gosh, is this getting all this on camera? I don't want to have to reshoot this because I've already got too far on Diggersby though. Let's talk a little bit about pink. Pink you can indicate using colors like red. You use a super washed out red in order to get that pink in. But make sure if you're doing color like pink, you want to establish the shadows first, so that you can easily make it look pink. So enough said. Enough said. The Diggersby's fur. It's better fur. Fur on its chest. Excuse me. You have a lot of liberty when you're doing watercolor. You can do this any way you want. I just choose to do it this way. And this is all coming out on camera, right? Yeah. Sorry, this is really unprofessional recording. This is my first tutorial, actually. Like, that's not been live. I apologize if this is a little bit convoluted. I'm just coming up with this in the final script. Just want to do that Diggersby. Kill two birds with one stone. Kill two birds with one smackdown, even though it only hits one opponent. Right, now believe it or not, everything on this planet reflects light. Yes, even your banana reflects light. And so, because of that, I'm going to rim the outline of some of these using the color that I used for some. You want to rim the bottoms. You use this sparingly, but rim the bottoms of your drawing, your painting, using colors that are below the layer that you're using. That way, you can get a more realistic looking lighting, even though this is a really cartoony looking Diggersby. I gotta get myself one of these things. I gotta find somebody with a ground safari and catch myself a Diggersby. A nice Diggersby. Diggersby should be a staple in every team. Little pink bunny rabbit nose. This big, strong, and some strength. Oh, almost forgot. I drew a little Coca-Cola can in there. And again, I'll use blue for some of the shadows because of the atmospheric. I want a little atmospheric kind of texture. Not a texture. I shouldn't say texture. There's a whole lot of different... Texture has a whole lot of different meanings in the art world. This is not one of them. Now, for his belly fur. Let's do this. Now, there's a whole bunch of ways you could do all sorts of things. I'm going to use more of a yellow ochre for his kind of fur. A little bit of orange to that. Voy a establecer mis sombras. Establish the shadows using the bold part. See, Diggersby's fur is very it's very fluffy. It's so fluffy! I'm gonna die! Man, one of my favorite movies. Lego Movie's still the best, but I love Despicable Me. It was actually one of my favorite. It was actually my favorite movie until the Lego Movie came out. All right, got an okay look at Diggersby. Let me just clean up some of this white patches. And there we go. We got that Diggersby. Nice looking Diggersby. That ears come with 2 more arms. That's Diggersby's ears. And we can kind of go over lightly the darker areas with a little bit of blue, just to reinforce that atmospheric texture. That'll make your painting a little more pop. Snap, crackle, pop, even though I never really like Rice Krispies. Or Cocoa Krispies for that matter. I had like this whole bag of Cocoa Krispies in my pantry that's just been sitting there, gathering dust. I'm more of a Pebbles kind of guy. If you want to know the truth. Right, for backgrounds can be simple. Backgrounds can be very complex. I want to go simple for this one. So I'm actually going to use a little bit of a wash. This involves using a lot of water. See, this paintbrush is already toned orange from using orange in a failed attempt at this tutorial. This can give your painting a little bit of atmosphere. Because Diggersby is a ground type, I chose the orange. Just a few finishing touches, a few finishing details can round out your painting. Dang. I wasn't expecting this to turn out so nicely. But we got nice looking Diggersby. It's very friendly. He will say hi to you on the street, and if you don't say hi back, he'll clobber you with his ears and demand you to say hi to him. He can sip a Coke while doing it. And alright, here we have it. Got Diggersby. Diggersby though. Diggersby though. Diggersby though. Diggersby though. Now, if you want, you can go over the outline with a few colored pencils in order to reinforce that atmospheric look. Make sure you do this when your painting is slightly dry, though, because if you don't, your colored pencils ain't going to do squat, especially if they're oil-based, which I'm not sure if they are, but I'm pretty sure they're out there. Prismacolor, we got Faber-Castell. And there we have it. Diggersby. I guess that's it for this basic watercolor tutorial. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps you. And I wish you the best of luck.